To the Champions League we go. It'll be the fourth meeting of the season on Tuesday in Paris as PSG take on Borussia Dortmund. These two teams, of course, met in the group stages with PSG winning 2-0 at home, 1-1 it was in Germany. And of course, coming into this game, Borussia Dortmund take a 1-0 lead. We welcome to the conversation, Archie Rhind-Tutt is with us. No offence, Archie, but I just want to dwell on Jules' suffering, which will lead now until the final whistle, as we've seen, of course, in the past with PSG. Is it different this time, Jules?
Why are you doing this? Why?
Because it's fun.
So mean.
I don't know. I'll tell you tomorrow night. I'll tell you tomorrow night if it's different. It feels a bit different, to be fair, and the players have been actually, I think, quite relaxed since the first leg, which I'm not too sure how I feel about, because there seems to be this sense of optimism, like big optimism, that tomorrow night they will do it and they will qualify for the final. We saw Luis Enrique today being again super positive and saying we are going to win. No, I'm telling you, we are going to win. Well, it's a football match. Anything is possible. And this Dortmund side, as we saw in the first leg, might not be the best in the world, but they play with a lot of heart. They play with a lot of unity and solidarity. And they've got also good individual talent. I don't think they can not concede a goal in 180 minutes against this PSG team. And we saw all the chances that PSG created in that second half in Germany. But I think it's going to be a really open, fascinating second leg, really. The atmosphere is going to be absolutely fantastic there in the stadium, and Paris need it. PSG really need that to do a bit like what the Yellow Wall did in the first leg. But I think it's Paris' favourite, but not outstandingly favourite, I think.
What, if anything, does this match mean for the legacy of Kylian Mbappe?
I think it's huge. This is his last ever European game in Paris, obviously. Whether they qualify for the final or not, he won't play again at the Parc des Princes with this shirt in Europe. Then there's a few games, the 2 games left in the, or 3 because of the game in hand they have in the league, and then that'll be it. And then someone was telling me the other day that the family and the people have always believed that June the 1st and this Champions League final would be a PSG Real Madrid game from the start of the season, that it was written somewhere that he will play his last ever PSG game against his next team in a Champions League final. I hope they're right, because I really think this would be an incredible story. Like, this would be something exceptional, but there's still a long way to go. And seeing how anonymous he was in that first leg, apart from his shot that hit the post, he will need to do far more tomorrow. Whether he plays on the left or centrally, he will have to do far more on Tuesday night to take this team to the Champions League final, to have this dream of a finale, really, and with the PSG shirt.
Dortmund, Archie? They're not supposed to be here.
They're not. And yet here they are, because they have done the complete opposite of what they've been doing in the Bundesliga this season, which is turning up for the biggest games against the biggest opposition. Only against Bayern Munich have they beaten a top 4 member of the Bundesliga this season. And I thought that what Edin Terzic was saying in his press conference today about the fact that his team need to be willing to put in 20 more kilometers than the opponents when it comes to running, but also making sure that they're able to improve on their performance from the first leg, because he knows that PSG had their chances, and on another day, at least one would go in. I'm interested how he sets up again, whether Jadon Sancho plays on the right to go up against Nuno Mendes, because that was something I don't think that Luis Enrique was anticipating in the first leg. You saw the amount of space that Julien was given to run from right back, because I think the thing that Luis Enrique was most concerned with was making sure to stop Ian Maatsen's runs forwards, that in combination with Jadon Sancho. So wondering about how Luis Enrique thinks defensively, even if I think that this PSG team will be on the front foot a lot more tomorrow. I wonder what happened to Nuno Mendes against Jadon Sancho, plus thinking about this whole combination with whether it's Kylian Mbappe up front, through the centre or on the left, whether it's Bradley Barcola or whether, as I know there's been a lot of clamour in Paris for Gonzalo Ramos to get a start through the middle. Whether that'll actually happen, I don't know. But I think that there are lots of interesting pieces of the puzzle to be pushed about here. And I think Dortmund can still be hopeful of getting something, given some of the big results they've had away from home in Europe this season and at Bayern.
How big a factor is it, Ali, that PSG had the weekend off? As a player, what would you prefer? To go in and put it, Dortmund were great at the weekend, scored lots of goals, obviously impressing. Would you prefer to have kept that momentum going and take that into this game, or does the rest actually benefit you?
Well, I don't think PSG were carrying momentum because they lost last week. And so I think as a player, you want to be on the field as much as possible. But you know full well that there is something to be said about being fresh, certainly at this time of the year and this time of the season. And so I think this eliminates excuses for PSG.
Right.
This eliminates any sort of concern and possibility that maybe players are not coming into this match at their very best level of fitness. There is no argument to be made here other than PSG being prime for a big performance. And if indeed PSG is going to have a big performance, which may be needed against Borussia Dortmund, Kylian Mbappe has to be at the forefront of that. So to answer your question about the legacy of Kylian Mbappe, we said it last week, and I'll say it again this week. Whether he plays in the middle, on the left, on the right, from the moon, from the outside, from the back, center back, goalkeeper, he cannot go quietly in this game. He cannot be a passenger. He cannot allow just the game to come and go and him not dictate what happens in the final third for PSG. So if he has to make runs in behind, if he has to come to the ball, if he has to come from the left, if he has to come from the right, if he has to be on the shoulder of defenders, if he has to spin out of defenders and force Mats Hummels to run, force Schlotterbeck to run, he has to be willing to do that over the course of 90 minutes. That is the responsibility that is put upon players of the level of Kylian Mbappe, of the level of Lionel Messi, of the level of Cristiano Ronaldo. That's where Mbappe lives. That's the sort of table in which he's eating. Then he has to perform at that level.
When these two teams met in this stadium, in the group stages, PSG dominated the game. Borussia Dortmund only managing one shot on target. Kylian Mbappe, of course, on the score sheet that time round. Let's get a look at the odds, shall we? And take a look at how things stand. PSG are favourites to advance. The home advantage paying dividends, according to the bookies. 8-5 on, meanwhile, Borussia Dortmund, the outsiders. And where can I go here from right, let's start with a mutual pick, shall we? Ali?
Oh, I'm the neutral one, I see. I do think that Borussia Dortmund can create issues for PSG because let's not forget, Lucas Hernandez now out with an ACL injury. So what do they do defensively? That opens up opportunity for counter-attack opportunities for Borussia Dortmund. Overall, my feeling is Borussia Dortmund was at their best last week and PSG can get better. If PSG does get better, they should win at home. And if they win at home, I don't think they just win by one. I think in the end, PSG goes through.
PSG to go through. Julien Laurent.
Dortmund every day, you know, I think they are.
Oh, shut up.
I'm kidding.
Right,
3-1 win
that's
PSG.
Yes.
3-1 win PSG, I said. 3-1
yeah, oh, no,
PSG.
too late now. You said your nonsense. Cut you off. It's enough. Archie.
2-2.
Oh, Desmond, there we go. That would, of course, see Borussia Dortmund go through to the final.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, on Wednesday...
sorry.
No, we're moving on, Archie. Sorry, it's OK, don't worry. There was a pause. It wasn't your fault, it's my pause. There you are. I like the silence.
I'm not used to your dramatic pauses.
I know. That's it. It wasn't. I didn't know where I was going. It was a dramatic pause. Let's sell it like that.